Next, brought to you by Radio Shack. This local forecast is brought to you by Radio Shack, just around the corner.
Local forecast is every 10 minutes on the 10s. You can also visit our website at theweathernetwork.com.
Well, good morning. We're so glad you could join us for Weather Network News on this Thursday, August the 12th. I'm Nadine Blaney. Well, the 2004 Atlantic hurricane season has been relatively quiet until now. People in Florida are bracing for a possible 1-2 punch as two storms threaten to make landfall. Hurricane Charlie is bearing down on western Cuba and could hit the west coast of Florida as a Category 3 storm tomorrow. Tropical storm Bonnie isn't as strong, but will likely strike the Florida panhandle sometime this morning. Yesterday, energy companies evacuated workers from more than 145 oil production facilities in the Gulf of Mexico. A state of emergency has been declared across Florida, which mobilizes about 8,000 National Guardsmen. Shelters are ready should they be needed, and visitors to the Florida Keys have been forced to leave. Hurricane Charlie is forecast to bring up to 150 millimeters of rain to Jamaica and the Cayman Islands today. Well, hurricanes rarely reach Canadian waters, but Juan hit Halifax hard last year, causing $100 million in damage. Scientists are puzzled as to why the storm had such a huge impact on the area. Juan was barely a Category 2, but caused damage equivalent to a Category 3 storm. Some experts say the hurricane spawned a series of small tornadoes that may have contributed to all the damage. Thunderstorms are dying down, but they've made a mess of some communities in eastern Canada. In Burnstown, west of Ottawa, investigators confirmed that damage to a farm on Tuesday was caused by an F1 tornado. Strong winds tore the roof off of a barn, demolished a shed, and snapped trees like toothpicks. The tornado also carved a path 1.5 kilometers long and nearly 200 meters wide. In Laval, north of Montreal, the heavy rain was just too much for the drainage system to handle. Sewers backed up as residents struggled to keep their basements dry. Strong winds toppled trees onto cars in Montreal and also cut power to about 50,000 Hydro-Quebec customers. Many were still without electricity Wednesday morning. Now the thunderstorms are in Gaspé, Quebec, but are losing energy as they continue to drift towards the east. Air pollution has become a growing health concern in recent years, especially in southern Ontario. Here's Dwight Arthur with more.
According to a recently published study by the Toronto Public Health, air pollution in that city contributes to about 1,700 premature deaths and 6,000 admissions to hospitals each year. Those figures show an increase over the estimates in a previous study back in 2000. So does that mean the smog problem is getting worse?
We have not seen any trend to suggest that things are getting worse. In other words, we've had summers that smog has been very high, other summers where it's low. The high numbers tend to be coming down over the last 10 years or so in terms of the high levels of, say, ground level ozone or smog that we see.
So, if there hasn't been a sudden surge in smog episodes over the last few years, should we really be concerned about these health statistics? Well, maybe no. You see, past studies only assessed the health risks associated with short-term exposure. This present study, however, includes both short and long-term exposure to fine particulates. And that's why the numbers have increased. Still, Dr. David McEwen, Medical Officer of Health for Peel Region, feels Torontonians should be concerned.
Living in an area which has higher levels of air pollution can lead you to more likely develop both respiratory disease and, more importantly, heart disease. It's estimated that in studies in the United States that if you live in a particularly smoggy city, you may actually live 2 or 3 years shorter life than if you live in an area with cleaner air. The number of emergency room visits and doctor's visits and hospital admissions goes up on days when the smog is worse.
The more Toronto grows, the more cars we're going to see on the roads. Unless there's a major shift in the way we use public transit, perhaps the only way we'll ever control smog is to limit urban sprawl. And we all know that's not likely to happen anytime soon. For the Weather Network, I'm Dwight Arthur in an ever-expanding Toronto.
That's your news for this half hour. Stay tuned for all of your afternoon forecast details.
Did you hear about John? Oh, his poor family, left with nothing. I don't know what I'd do if something happened to Mark. With our bills, we're just getting by. You don't have life insurance? We used to think that way. Then we found Guaranteed Life Plus from AIG Assurance. It's life insurance for people 40 to 75.
What's the catch?
None. There's no medical. Everyone is accepted. You deal directly with AIG Assurance, so no salesperson will visit.
Premiums start as low as $20 a month, guaranteed never to increase. In case of accidental death, your beneficiary receives 5 times your coverage, tax-free.
If you can afford one of these every day, you can afford Guaranteed Life Plus.
Call AIG Assurance toll-free at 1-800-221-5094 for your free information kit. Ask for extension 173. Protect your family. Call now.
A very good morning to you. This is just after sunrise from our Mississauga studios. You can see some cloud, some sun peeking through. It looks like a very pretty sky. The temperature is 14 degrees, getting up to a forecast high of 22 degrees today. A very similar day to what you saw yesterday. A little bit of active weather as we move along the St. Lawrence Seaway as we approach eastern Canada into the Gaspé. Still seeing some rumbles of thunder and still a watch in effect for areas of southern Quebec. Here's a shot of the radar activity, and you can see some of those embedded thunder shells. Basically, anytime I point to say yellow or red, that's convective activity, getting some thunder, some lightning. Still some unstable conditions. Those will die off, but really the cold front that sliced through southern Ontario first, bringing all the rain and the thunder showers as it tracked along southern areas of Quebec, that is now basically a stationary front into Atlantic Canada. Let's see how the timeline is from this evening till tomorrow. You'll see those pop-up thunder showers and thunderstorms widespread along the St. Lawrence Seaway, pushing into the Gaspé region. Because there is a ridge of high pressure out at sea, what that is doing is circulating clockwise, funneling in that nice warm moist air from stateside. So a gorgeous day in terms of temperatures, but then it gets really cloudy. And this low pressure system just right here on the bottom of your screen, that will be the remnants of Bonnie. Bonnie is expected to affect Florida sometime this morning. Meanwhile, across the west, calm, clear conditions in BC Interior, downright hot.
Lie about your age?
No, I'm only 28.
Fool even your toughest critics. Olay Total Effects 7X fights 7 signs of aging. It also moisturizes better than these major department store brands. Olay Total Effects 7X.
Moisturizing or lasting lipsticks? Why pick? New CoverGirl Continuous Color Lipstick. It's 2-in-1. Hours of wear plus moisture care in one. New Blue Good For You Continuous Color.
Your local forecast is next. Brought to you by Radio Shack.
So 1 large pizza with blueberries, tickle monkey, duotang, wood, and world peace.
This local forecast is brought to you by Radio Shack. Just around the corner.
Local forecast is every 10 minutes on the 10s. You can also visit our website at theweathernetwork.com.
Well, good Thursday morning to you. We're taking a look at some of your weather highlights from coast to coast in just a minute, but we're going to focus in right now on some of these tropical storm systems that are taking aim at Florida. Not one, but two. The first of which is Tropical Storm Bonnie. No longer expected to be hurricane force when it hits the panhandle, but still nonetheless likely to bring some heavy rain to an area that's already soaked. And then Helena. Close behind is Hurricane Charlie, which has already caused quite the storms in Jamaica as well as the Cayman Islands.
Affecting Cuba today, maximum sustained winds 157 kilometers per hour. As it tracks past Cuba, it enters those really warm Gulf waters. Expected to become Category 3. It is already borderline Category 2, and that, of course, close behind Bonnie, which is carrying maximum sustained winds of about 105 kilometers per hour. That will be affecting Florida at some point in time this morning. Then Charlie comes through tomorrow, and that, of course, the trajectory right up the Atlantic seaboard into the Maritimes for Friday and by the end of the weekend for Charlie. So certainly some potential active weather headed into your direction, but conditions right now not too bad at all. A gorgeous day into the forecast into many areas. Newfoundland, 26 degrees is a forecast high. Lots of sunshine in effect there, but still some instability along the St. Lawrence Seaway.
Yeah, we still do have a severe thunderstorm watch for Temiscouta, and those thunderstorms are moving northeastward to 75 kilometers an hour over these regions. But overall, a pleasant day across the Maritime provinces. Pretty warm, pretty muggy, and then Newfoundland absolutely gorgeous. Still unsettled in parts of Ontario's Nickel Belt. Cooler temperatures in behind the secondary cold front right from southwestern Ontario north towards Thunder Bay, and temperatures slightly moderating across Manitoba. Saskatchewan is where you're really going to feel a difference from the past couple of days today. Downright hot, though, as that ridge in the jet stream becomes even more pronounced in Alberta as well as BC. In fact, temperatures in BC's southern interior expected to climb into the mid to get this high 30s. Kamloops, for example, expected to hit 37 degrees this afternoon.
Calgary, 30 degrees on Friday is your forecast high. Meanwhile, starting to see a bit of a warm up into Manitoba. It's not till Saturday that you actually get back to seasonal, and it's looking like a wet weekend for portions of the Maritimes. We'll have your long-range forecast coming up.
Real seafood lovers, Red Lobster has